So today I'm going to show you how to make a really delicious creamy chocolate smoothie using honeydew melon. Everyone recognizes this in the grocery store, but most of us have never frozen it before, let alone had it like an ice cream treat. This is an amazing thick smoothie, and you'll never think of honeydew melon the same way again once you've experienced it. So to start with, I'd like to go over just a couple basic ingredients I'm going to be using. More and more people are talking about how soy milk is not the health food that we once thought it was because it is so highly refined. So if you're planning on making smoothies like this every day, I wouldn't use soy milk all the time. But this smoothie being a particular treat, I've tested it with lots and lots of other milks, and it's definitely hands down the best with silk. So we're just going to indulge in something kind of good, kind of bad. This is unsweetened silk. It's organic, it's non-genetically modified, and what I like about it being unsweetened is that then I can control the exact sweetness that I want using stevia. Stevia, a lot of you have probably heard of, is it's an herb. It's like a little green leaf that gets refined and distilled, and you can have it in powder form. They sell little packets that are kind of like artificial sweetener, and they also sell it in this dropper bottle. It's just a clear liquid. And you can control one drop actually adds quite a bit of sweetness, so it only takes a couple drops to get your smoothie as sweet as you want it. And this is great in tea, coffee, any of that stuff that you like to sweeten. So another ingredient is agave nectar. This is sort of like honey, but it dissolves really well in any temperature of liquid. Honey tends to clump up if you try to put it in cold stuff. So this is great. This is actually the same stuff that tequila comes from, so it's nice. We're going to use a little dash of Himalayan salt, pink salt. This is a sea salt and it's full of minerals. Natural sea salt is really good for you. It's just that refined table salt that's not so hot. So we're going to get down to it. I'm going to start with about ½ cup of soy milk. I've got little measuring things on the side here so I don't have to mess with that too much. I'll just put a little dash of coconut milk, which is really creamy. I'm going to use 4 drops of stevia. That's just a good standard sweetness. And just a dash of the salt. And aside from adding minerals, doing just a dash of salt is going to actually bring out the natural sweet flavor of the fruits. So, a couple more ingredients that might be unfamiliar. Acidophilus. This is the stuff you're supposed to take when you take antibiotics. It's really good at keeping the balance correct in your intestines and just throughout your body of healthy bacteria. And this is a little fiber pill, glucomannan. You can get it at the health food store. Just 1 pill. This is flavorless and it's not very gritty, but 1 little capsule is going to actually expand to 11 times its volume when it's combined with liquid. So it's going to make a really thick, creamy substance out of our smoothie. It's going to bind it up really well and also slow down the absorption of sugars in your body. So it's not like drinking juice where you get a rush of sugar and then a crash later. It's going to just stabilize and have a nice slow burn so it can sustain you through a good long workout. The secret ingredient we're going to use in this is kale. And it's just a small leaf of kale. Kale is one of the absolute best superfoods. It ranks as one of the highest antioxidant contents of vegetables, so it's a cancer-fighting food. It's also got lots of potassium, which is important if you exercise. The more you exercise and the more you're just outside in the hot weather, the more you need potassium. Alright, so we're going to add the honeydew melon. And I just dice up honeydew into little pieces and freeze it. You want to freeze it for at least 4 hours. Easiest thing to do is just freeze it overnight. And I like it in a little baggie. If you put it in a Tupperware, often it just clumps together and it's really hard to separate. We want about a cup worth of honeydew. So, break it up. And if you find that your block of honeydew gets really frozen solid, all you have to do is run it under some water in the sink for a second, and it totally breaks up easily. I'm going to use most of this bag. Just get that cup out of there. Alright. So the honeydew is naturally really creamy. If you like cantaloupe actually makes a good smoothie too, if you freeze it. So, if we want to just do a straight up honeydew melon smoothie, which is really creamy and good, this is how we do it, and I'll show you how to do the chocolate twist at the end. So you have 2 options, you get 2 different smoothies out of it. And last thing I'm going to show you before I let it spin, this is a tamper. If you get a really good blender, this is a Vitamix, which is like top of the line professional grade blender, you don't have to buy a Vitamix. The Kitchen Ninja has lots and lots of blades throughout that are great for crushing ice and just making a really good thick smoothie. Mixed drinks too. And I believe that one comes with a tamper too. Basically a tamper is just something that you put in the hole at the top to smash down the stuff that you're blending. It's going to keep pushing the big chunks down, so you're blending it really well. At the end you end up with more like soft serve rather than a watery smoothie. So you can really control the thickness a lot better when you're using a tamper. So here we go, it's going to get loud for a minute. Which is what we're looking for. And you can keep it just a little thicker than you want if you're going to do the chocolate option. The chocolate one's really fun. I'm going to start with just about a teaspoon of agave. I like to mix agave and stevia. When you do that, you're going to get the flavor of the agave, so it tastes like you used a whole lot of it. The stevia just intensifies the sweetness. So you can get the flavor like if you had used 2 tablespoons of agave or 1 tablespoon of agave. You can get that same flavor by using a few drops of stevia and like 1 teaspoon of agave. So it's a lot lower in sugar. And unlike NutraSweet, the stevia is not going to add any toxic chemicals. So this is about a tablespoon of cocoa powder. And the reason I'm doing this separately, this is going to be a teaspoon or so of soy milk powder. And you can also buy rice milk powder, which I recommend to get away from all the refined soy. This was just laying around the house and I had to finish it, so we'll use that for today. But this brand is Better Than Milk brand, and they have one that says rice in the middle. You can get it at Wheatsville, health food stores like that. Anyhow, the reason I'm not just dumping the powder right in, most blenders aren't powerful enough to really mix it all in creamy, and if you're putting powder on top of a cold liquid, it's going to want to kind of keep its powderiness, which can end up being kind of gritty. And we want this to be a really indulgent, rich chocolate flavor. So I'm just going to dissolve this with a little hot water, just a little bit. If you add too much hot water, it's going to make your smoothie too runny. And another cool trick, put just enough hot water. You want to zoom in on that. Put just enough hot water to make it like a little paste. And if you feel like it's too lumpy, just push it up against the side. It does not have to be perfect. The blender's definitely going to take the lumps out. You just want to make it mostly creamy. So we're going to go ahead and add that. That's about, I'd say like 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra liquid on top of your super thick smoothie base. Good deal. So we're going to let that spin for just a couple seconds. Serve just like that. It makes a fantastic dessert. An interesting little thing I've found is as your body starts to get used to eating really healthy food, there is a little bit of an adjustment process. Our bodies always want to maintain homeostasis. So it pretty much wants to keep you where you're at. If you're used to eating junk food all the time and drinking alcohol all the time, going to like a raw foods diet with kale and stuff is a little bit of a shock to the system, and you might get some kind of detox side effects. So I thoroughly advocate, eat the bulk of your meal as something really clean and fresh, full of vitamins, focus on the nutrients you're going to get, but then have a little treat afterwards. Something to remind you, you're not on like a deprivation diet. It's not about I can't have this, I can't have that. It's about wanting most of the food you're putting in your body to be really, really health promoting and just meet you where you're at to get you to the next level. So you don't have to go big guns and go all the way out on green everything, because you might end up breaking down and like running to the store and getting a brownie. It's just like too much too fast. So this is an awesome transition. It's still got lots of vitamins and minerals, but you're going to enjoy that rich chocolate flavor. Yeah, that's perfect. It's great. So, and the awesome thing too, if you have kids who don't like vegetables, it's a great way to sneak vegetables in on them. Kids love ice cream, kids love chocolate. Don't give it to them too late at night or they'll be really hyper, but it's a fantastic way of sneaking veggies in if a person you're cooking for doesn't really like the taste of vegetables. Chocolate trumps kale every time. That's it. Make a smoothie for me, tell me how it makes you feel, and I look forward to seeing you the next time.